Hey YouTube, so I'm back finally with another album review. Daft Punk came out today with Random Access Memories, and I got it, downloaded it on my iPhone, and been listening to it today. And I have to say, Daft Punk delivered. I'm a big fan of Daft Punk, and not one of those bandwagon fans. I've been a fan of theirs since like 98, 99, something around there. But even as big of a fan as I am, I wasn't really expecting to love this album, and especially not on first listen, but I really do, and I just want to talk about it. So the album is called Random Access Memories, and I think that that's a good title because the overall vibe of the album is definitely a 70s, almost disco, just very groovy type vibe. And, we have Giorgio Moroder contributing, we have Nile Rodgers contributing, and we have Paul Williams contributing, who are sort of 70s music behind the scenes icons. Giorgio Moroder behind Donna Summer and I Feel Love, which was, a lot of people say, is the catalyst for the new wave era. We have Nile Rodgers, who was behind Chic and like a lot of Diana Ross songs and stuff, and we have Paul Williams, who is a acclaimed, award-winning songwriter. He wrote a lot of stuff for a lot of the '70s groups, and Evergreen for Barbra Streisand, which won an Oscar, Rainbow Connection, and The Love Boat. See, I got notes this time. So yeah, the overall vibe is very like, just I guess Daft Punk reaching into their inspirations, their early inspirations, and combining their sound with very sexy kind of 70s grooves. The album is definitely a lot more mellow and a lot more pop than I was expecting. But overall, I really like it because it is a new sound for them, and kind of stuff that I wouldn't have expected from them, which is always great from a favorite artist. And I also have to say that the production level on here is a lot more smooth, but it's a lot more full. A lot of the songs kind of start out kind of simple, but then kind of build up into, more background effects and more instrumentation and things like that. Another thing I have to say is the instrumentation. There's some, like, adding to their electronic synthesized keyboard sound. It sounds like it's convincing if it's not, but it sounds like they added a lot of live instrumentation to it. There's a song Giorgio by Moroder that I love. It's the longest song, but it's very, very sexy. That's all I can say. Towards the middle of the song, this drum work, some intricate drum work comes in that really, helps it. There's also another song, Touch, that features Paul Miller that changes like 2 or 3 times. I wasn't feeling it at first. The vocals from Paul Williams kind of threw me off, but then it switched into this disco. It reminded me of Donna Summer's song, I Remember Yesterday. Which was like 70s disco, but it had inspirations from the 50s and the 60s and stuff in it. So maybe even further back than that. I remember yesterday. I don't know. But overall, I love the album. It's it's a nice journey. There has a lot of diversity in the songs, so it doesn't sound like retread after retread after retread. It's new, there's uniqueness from it, which, Daft Punk has been around for so long. that it's great to see them, trying new things and doing things differently. And, it's mellow. It'll be a good study album, even though the semester's over and I'm almost done. But it's a good groove album, too. If you want to dance, you just, let yourself lose yourself to dance, like Pharrell says. So, very well-rounded album. I have to applaud Daft Punk. That Tron score was very disappointing for me, but I can chalk that up as just a score and not really count it against them. But this one really, really, really delivered. I love it, and I haven't even had it for 4 hours, so that's a good sign. Of my favorites, mostly, it's funny, mostly the slower tempo songs. I love Doing It Right by Panda, featuring Panda Bear, who is the same guy who's behind Animal Collective. Love that song. It's so groovy. It's a nice little, almost like a road trip kind of song. Very smooth, but very repetitive and very funky and all that. There's also Touch, which I mentioned already, which is weird. It switches up, and I just really like, what it does in the song. I also love Game of Love, which is the second song, and it's so mellow. I've always liked the mellower Daft Punk songs like Emotion and It Might Not Be the Right Time. It may not be. What song am I thinking of? What song is that? Discovery. But Game of Love is perfect for that. It's just so mellow. The production is so lush, and I just love it. And I also like Motherboard, which is another sort of instrumental kind of song. But yeah, it builds. It's more true to, I guess, the Daft Punk sound. But that's the good thing about this album. They mix in a lot of stuff that is reminiscent of their older albums, but there's also just so much diversity that, it's a good mix. And then the last song that I love is Giorgio by Moroder, which, has a little interlude of just Giorgio talking about how he first got into production, and I love that song. The drums on that song just sent it over the edge for me. I loved it. And everything else is really good. The only song that I didn't really cling to is a song called Fragments of Time towards the end. That wasn't doing anything for me, but it wasn't so bad that I had to skip it to the next track. So, solid album. Really love it. Really funky, really old school and vintage, but still very current and very new. I think for us kids that were born like post disco era, but we were familiar with that sound again growing up, I think it'll be right up our alley, our alley. And for us Daft Punk fans, I can't really see a Daft Punk fan not liking this album. So bravo, bravo, bravo. I'm gonna give this 9.5 out of 10. I just really love it, and I am really, really surprised that I did. Get Lucky is a good song. I like it, but it wasn't, it wasn't giving me everything that I wanted from a first single, but it is a good indicator of what this album feels like. And also, Get Lucky, I remember listening to it on the radio, because they played on the radio a lot, and a lot of different stations, so that'll probably be a big hit this summer. But I was like, this is a radio edit, because I hope this is a radio edit and the album version is going to be longer, because my favorite part is when they're like, nice again, nice again, nice again, nice again. And I was hoping that in the album version that part would be longer, and it is, so I'm happy. And plus, Get Lucky really fits in well with the rest of the album. So I'm done talking about that, because I love the album and it was really good. I'm really satisfied. So yay, Daft Punk, for giving me some good new music. And I am going to probably at the beginning of June post my top 10 favorite albums and favorite singles. So stay tuned for that, and I don't know. What do you guys think? I have those reviews of Fantasia and Snoop Lion still on my computer. It was done in a very ratchet manner, so I didn't bother editing them together. But do you guys still want to see them? Let me know, okay? So that's it. Bye, YouTube.